And welcome back to Vitality versus Fnatic LEC Playoffs. The first round. Who will win and who will go home with nothing? A long break, 3 months of vacation in which you can do what you want. Play World of Warcraft, go and touch grass. I don't know what you need to do. I don't know what they're going to do. They get 3 months off. You going to say anything? Fnatic versus Vitality, the game that we're about to cast. Please say something.
All right, let's get into Game 2 draft. Great hearing from the analysts on the desk. Vedi here to take you through this series. So far, Mad G2, Rogue Misfits, Game 2 always equalize the series. Now, admittedly, that is only a 2-series sample size, but it's a trend. And perhaps that trend will continue. Can Fnatic maintain that trend and bring us to 1-1, guarantee us a 4-game series? Let us find out. Aurelia continues to be banned as Fnatic remain on the blue side alongside the Varus. They feel that their bans were not the problem. The Viego also being banned from Vitality. The Xin Zhao also being banned. Vitality, you imagine that they're going to remove the Thresh, and we're going to see the Lee Sin first pick. Let's have a look.
As they said on the desk, there were some very promising signs from Bwipo's Lee Sin. There's the Renekton immediately locked in, so already Vitality. I mean, is it a salty run back? Is that the angle we're seeing here? Kaiser may be locked in earlier.
It's just a Bwipo classic, remember? He always has the Kaiser.
My mistake.
But will it be the LeBlanc? Oh no, okay, here's the change-up. They're going to deny the Xayah because they felt that that was the problem. And in many ways, I agree. Yep. I think that when you have so much dive trying to close the gap against the Xayah, it can be very difficult to play on that. Now, when you flip it round, Diana dive, Yasuo dive, Renekton dive, like, yeah, now Xayah's kind of chilling. You have all these champions that want to try and close the gap on you. The problem is, if that knock-up comes onto the Xayah, you're not going to have a lot of time to react. So you've got to avoid that Diana engage with all that you've got. But now Fnatic, they can look to remove bot laners. They can get rid of supports, they can get rid of ADs if they want, and Vitality, they're going to get rid of some of the matchups that they didn't want to deal with. The LeBlanc, the Olaf, they were winning matchups early on. That did give them prio. Let's have a look now. So, tell me, Medic, what's on your mind?
Well, I was going to say, of course, no reason to ban out the Morgana that we saw banned by Vitality last time with the Rakan already picked in. But you are looking to give Lebrov one of his stronger champions here. The Alice says something he played very well in Week 8 and across the course of his split. It looks like Vitality might be saying, well, we want a little bit of safety for our AD carry. We can't get the Xayah, so instead we'll get the safety of an Arcane Shift in the form of Ezreal.
Yep, okay. I guess that they're saving support for counter pick, which isn't that rare in the current day and age. I'm very curious as to where Fnatic take their draft right now. Mordekaiser, Sylas.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Let me think about this. So, okay. What do I think about this?
Well, Adams played the Mordekaiser once this split. It was in their final game versus Schalke. He went 1-5-5, but he did win.
Renekton?
He picked it into... I will find out. Give me a second here.
Because I don't remember that very.
It was into a Jace.
Okay. So Mordekaiser did receive some buffs to his W. I'm not sure if it was this patch or last patch, but he did receive some buffs. If he's picking it into Renekton, he must feel confident in the matchup. It's not one that I'm super familiar with. But I do know that Mordekaiser does scale pretty well and does like melee champions. Admittedly, with the Yasuo, Diana, and the Renekton diving into you, yeah, as a Mordekaiser, it does make your life that bit easier. You can also potentially remove one of the threats of this combo.
Yes.
Isolate the Yasuo, isolate the Diana, potentially make this wombo combo much less threatening.
And I wonder if that's why this Galio has been locked in, because it means that even if that champion is removed, assuming the Galio has already pressed, Hero's Entrance has already pressed that R, you are going to get a knockup. The Yasuo doesn't have to rely on getting a knockup himself. Whereas here you have this big AoE knockup from the support that Vitality can bring to the fore. Mordekaiser, of course, as you said, was buffed on 11-15. His W cooldown going down a bit. The post-mitigation damage, the stored damage going up a little bit as well. But a Renekton can break through that shield. The shield that Mordekaiser gets with his W.
Yeah.
Of course, Ruthless Predator, when it's empowered, will break through any shield that Mordekaiser can obtain.
Well, we'll watch, you know?
Yeah,
Adam
we will.
probably knows the matchup better than I do, so I'll trust his judgment, and we'll see how the 1 versus 1 goes. In any case, I think that Vitality basically have the same comp that they had last game. Their engage is a little weaker, but not really. It's just that now, rather than the Rakan starting the fight, you have the Diana start it, and then the Galio follows up, rather than Rakan starting to Diana. And to be fair, Selfmade was starting a lot of his own fights. So I think that Vitality is going to look to do a very similar thing. I mean, while Fnatic, I think that composition is a little more different. I want a little bit more time to think about how they want to play this one. I'm not as confident in their 2v2 mid-jungle as I was last game.
Understandably.
And I think that this top lane matchup, I'm curious as to whether this is something that they really want to play around, because I think that when you have Xayah Rakan, it's a very easy lane to invest in, you know? I think that Galio, Ezreal is not exactly the easiest one to dive, but I can very easily see how a Sylas can get prio in mid when paired up with a Lee, and they can look to try and make proactive plays bot, and this was also a style that Fnatic found a lot of success with during the regular season.
Of course, the Mordekaiser gives Adam a little bit more safety in the top lane, at least after he gets towards that level 6, because it means if he is isolated, if he is put into a 3v3, he can just make it a 1v3, a 1v1.
Yeah, so I guess we'll wait and see. Let's go!
Let's do it! Okay, so on to Summoners if we go once again. Fnatic currently 1 game down to Vitality, who had a stormer of a first game. We're about 3,000 gold up at the 15-minute mark. A drastic shift from the way these two teams faced each other in the regular season, where Fnatic were the victors twice. Crownshot will know he's on a ward and should just be able to walk this one away, perhaps hoping that he won't have to skill up his E, and he is able to walk to safety.
Will Vitality do anything in response? It does not look like it. We can see that the Galio has gone back, dropped the ward in lane, and will grab himself the sweeper. Selfmade going to be starting on the top side. Last game, he did start on the bot side of the map, mainly to try and play towards this Renekton. But yeah, I am pretty convinced. So sometimes, as junglers will stick around here, wait till the last possible second, and then rotate down towards bot. Diana's also one of the few that I think you don't really need a leash. Her clear speed, even after the... actually, have the nerfs come through yet? Oh, I shouldn't have read 1116.
Yeah, I don't think she was nerfed on 1115. She was not.
Okay, good. Okay, so her clear speed is still very fast, but even after the nerfs will happen, her clear speed is still very, very fast. So you use the W, you use the passive, and look, you can see her actually starting on the Raptors instead. And I like this a lot. It's something we saw a lot from Marcoon during the regular season. It's a pathing that you can take to optimize your jungle clear, so that basically you will have your Raptors respawning very early, so you don't actually have to contest the Scuttle Crabs. You will be a little bit behind in terms of XP, but you'll actually be matching in terms of farm and gold, just because you'll be able to clear the Raptors once Bwipo in theory clears the second crab. But that's, I think he's just preparing for that eventuality, which suggests that, hey, we're not expecting to have prio in bot. There's a risk that we might not have prio in top and also in mid, but it is also just a really maximize your jungle clear and get as much farm as humanly possible. And we know that Selfmade does like this style of jungle.
And after coming off such a strong game 1, not really going to have any problems with his decision-making so far. In the top lane, we saw a little bit of trading between Szygenda and Adam, but it looks like it's going to be more of handbags than anything else. I don't really expect either of these guys to get too much of an advantage in the first few levels.
No. Mordekaiser is one of those champions that once you hit level 3, it's his passive really that makes him a scary champion to play against in lane. But Renekton, of course, with the Fury is also what makes him very scary to fight against. So I think that both those will be playing around it. I don't expect too much aggression. Saying that, we see a bit of trading back and forth. Two melee mid laners. Often you will see a lot of skirmishing as they trade HP to try and gain control of the wave. The Doran's ring in mid for Nisqy. Let's have a look at what Bwipo is up to here. So, of course, the bot side has been cleared by Selfmade because he did his Raptors into bot clear into the top side. He will actually get himself the crab, and you'll see that he'll do the crab, which is great for him because he will end up getting prio in the top side of the map. He can also clear out his Krugs, and he will have his Raptors respawning very, very soon.
Both junglers are here. Leader has Ignite. Nisqy going in, but the flash won't carry him far enough away. Leader gets the first kill. Actually, Selfmade taking it. Bwipo now trading against Selfmade, who takes the tower shot as Bwipo goes low. Selfmade trying to turn this one around. Up comes Hylissang from the bottom lane. Has the flash, has the Ignite. Crescent Strike available for Selfmade, but won't quite find it. Hylissang flashes forward, and Fnatic get their second kill on the board.
Very nice play there from Hylissang. I was worried that Fnatic wouldn't actually be able to trade that jungle kill back, and I was curious as to why Bwipo didn't use his flash, but it was because he was setting up the play for Hylissang. They knew that Selfmade had already committed his flash to the play. Let's have a quick look back at this one. So Selfmade is hovering around mid because they're expecting the gank. You can see the wave state. Leader's forced to extend a little bit farther than he would like to, so Selfmade's there to cover. He flashes in to guarantee the damage. Leader gets stunned up underneath the tower, so he can't quite disengage, and because he has the tower aggro. Bwipo ends up missing Selfmade with his Q. I think because Selfmade almost like gets body blocked as he awkwardly walks around him. And then we see here the ward jump into the E, W, flash E. Very well played from Fnatic, and now they're looking for another gank mid.
Well, Leader having to dodge away from both Bwipo and Nisqy here, but there's nowhere for him to go, no minions for him to dash to anymore. Nisqy takes the kill, and Fnatic are off to a storming start here, Betty.
They certainly are. Repeat ganks in the mid lane for Bwipo. Just trying to shut Leader down on this Yasuo, sitting at 0-2 now. Has no TP, actually running the Ignite. Of course, we talked about that in the last replay, but when you die this often in lane, it really starts to create this huge XP gap between the two mid laners, and for this Sylas, it's only going to make this matchup so much better for him as he continues to rank up that W. So, really good start for Fnatic, very different to what we saw from last game. A lot of these early skirmishes and early ganks really paying off.
And Selfmade put a little bit on the back foot after these two strong ganks from Bwipo. The question is, can Bwipo keep up this tempo? Can Bwipo keep up this pace? Because once again, he is hovering around the mid lane, forgoing his Krugs, forgoing his Razorbeaks, instead of looking perhaps even to invade Selfmade's jungle.
Well, he does have Prio bot. You can see that Hylissang is starting to make his way up. They have pinged out Selfmade, and this time they want to try and shut down his early jungling. Lee, at this point in the game, is going to be much stronger than the Diana. Normally, that's where you can leverage your strength in the matchup. Selfmade steals it away, though.
Bob's on his way across, as is Crownshot. There's the taunt, lands on both of them. No flash available for the jungler or support, of course, but there goes the blast cone, and Hylissang will escape second scuttle crab of the game here for Bwipo, and might even just start up the dragon straight away afterwards.
A little bit risky, I think. Cloud Drake has that increased attack speed, but Bwipo, with the Prio that they have in bot and in mid, the fact that Leader doesn't have any summoners, definitely making him play much more respectfully. And you can see Nisqy already rotating down. So yeah, pretty safe Drake overall. Said it was risky, clearly I was wrong. And Bwipo just gonna lock that one in. No contest from the side of Vitality.
Overall, a strong start for Fnatic after the struggles in game one here. Szygenda's going to jump on to Adam. Trade is out. Realm of Death is available. Szygenda's now been putting it, dodging away from the E, as Selfmade comes in for the chase as well. And we'll just wait for Adam to come out of this one. Szygenda heals up. And it's 2 times in 2 games that we've seen Adam manage to fight pretty well in the top lane, but end up dying to the 2v1.
Yeah, he chose not to flash there. I think he was convinced that he would be able to get the kill onto Szygenda. To me, it seemed like Adam was not expecting Selfmade to be outside of the ultimate when, you know, the ultimate disappeared. Yeah. Szygenda was just doing his best to buy time, and he did just that. So Vitality get themselves another kill on the board, continue to play around the top side of the map. And to me, it seems that in these early levels, Renekton definitely seems to have the advantage in the 1 versus 1. But as the game progresses, I imagine that Mordekaiser is going to have a much easier time against Renekton, especially as your continued sustained DPS. You can see in those extended trades how close it already is. I think Szygenda, I mean, it could have gone either way, honestly, but the arrival of Selfmade definitely secured that one for Vitality. So the gold pretty much dead even still. But the difference this time is Bwipo is in a much better position. Still behind in gold, though. Still behind in gold. Probably that kill that Selfmade just got himself really helped him in that capacity. But this time, he's not being shut down in the same way that he was last game, and he's not being completely out-farmed. So hopefully, Bwipo can have a little bit more of an impact than he was able to in game 1.
Yeah, importantly, Nisqy getting a lead in the mid lane here as well on the side. It's about 400 gold ahead. Has already got himself those Ionian cooldown boots, and just makes it so much easier when you have another focus, another locus of power for your team. And Fnatic will be looking to Nisqy when we get towards that mid-game. Bot lane pretty even, not really much has happened down there, not as explosive as it was in game 1, but at the moment, the expectation is these teams will want to just continue to farm up.
ultimate going to come through from Crownshot, looking to get a little bit of damage, but the side step from Upset is, of course, running the cleanse. We didn't mention that a little bit earlier, but something that he wants to avoid. Can you cleanse knockups? That's one of the ones I always forget.
Did they remove Cleanse Flash? Or was it QSS Flash? They may have removed it, but Bwipo is looking for a knockup of his own as he lands the Q onto Crownshot. There's the double knockup to get rid of the taunt. LeBron burst on the menu. Hylissang going in with the charm to add another kill to Upset's book, as now Leader and Selfmade are on the chase. No? Well, Flash is burnt, really, from Fnatic. They still have the Feather Storm. Selfmade flashed away there as Upset manages to escape. Bwipo has a stopwatch. Leader flashing away now as well, but Upset should be able to take him down. The last breath, not quite enough. Bwipo on a killing spree.
That was almost an insane play from Leader. Now Nisqy's joined the fray.
He missed on the Szygenda abduct, but he has the chase down. Selfmade nowhere to go, has already burned his flash. And Fnatic now 7 kills to 2 up.
What a kick from Bwipo.
That was beautiful.
You asked me, can we have faith in Bwipo's Lee Sin at the very beginning of the series? Turns out, yeah, we can. Let's have a look back. Pay attention. Oh, nice sidestep there from LeBron, but look at this. Flash kick into Q so that he can get the follow-up. Just very well played there. Landing that knockup is a very difficult thing to do. And then with Leader's arrival, they thought that they could get the play. Upset uses his ult early to try and bait in the ultimate, and then he flashes immediately. Doesn't even run the risk, and is able to sidestep. And now here, the wall goes in front. If it had gone behind, he would have been able to block the feathers, but then Leader cleverly tries to navigate his way behind the wall so that he can mitigate any potential damage coming in from the rest of Fnatic, but then the shielding was enough to keep Upset alive. Then, of course, Nisqy also joins the fray by making his way down, just by walking. Still has the TP up at his disposal. Fnatic looking much more in control, much more of what we're used to, I feel. Bwipo very active in the early game with his jungle, being able to find 2v2 kills, then translating that lead from mid into bot. Kind of what we expected in the draft, and it's really coming into fruition from the side of Fnatic. And
Bwipo far and away the most gold in the game, 700 gold ahead of Selfmade at the moment, and he's 3-0-4 on this Lee Sin with the Rift Herald to boot. There's the kick. Leader able to dodge away just at the last moment. There's the taunt coming out as well. Leader's going to try and turn this one back around. There's the hero's entrance. Is it going to be enough, though? Leader not got the damage. Lebrov tried to do everything he could to help out his mid laner, but Fnatic were able to walk away with a kill.
There were just 3 people. It's jungle support mid. Yeah. Like, that is the meta, and that is the unfortunate situation that Leader found himself in. If there was one more person, there's a very good chance that Vitality could have actually turned that around, because I think Leader played that about as well as he could alongside Lebrov. Their CC was layered very well. They did as much damage as they could, but the moment Hylissang arrived, that extra person really just made the difference. Fnatic now find themselves with 2.5k gold in the lead, and they're looking dominant in this early game.
Yeah, such a strong position, and it bodes well for them as well. The problem with Vitality as they get through games is their inability to really carry from a losing position. They tend to get caught out, they tend to throw their faces into the wall over and over and over, and in the end, the meat grinder just grinds them up and their enemies take the win. And throughout the course of the season, that has been their downfall. And here, with Fnatic so far ahead, my expectation is we continue to see signs like this. People getting caught out from Vitality as they try to make plays.
Well, remember that Fnatic, when they started to falter in the second half of the split, it was their over-aggression that ended up costing them. They would get big leads, they would try and force fights they didn't need to force, and they would end up getting punished as a result. So let's see if they can keep this momentum going, if they can maintain this lead and equalize the series. They continue to accelerate their gold lead. They've sent off Adam to the weak side of the map. They funneled more plates into Upset. He is very strong right now on the Xayah. His ultimate is now back up, and his flash will be up soon. You can see how much harder, how impactful this pick seems to be in this series. It's fascinating when you compare all the different series champions and their priorities, how they shift.
That wasn't a lot of damage from Szygenda. Doesn't even have the Gore Drinker complete yet. You look at the other side, like, Bwipo has a Gore Drinker and a Phage, and Szygenda, the top laner for Vitality, hasn't even...
100% kill participation.
Mate, Bwipo's having a storm of a game right now.
And it's just, oh man, the narrative just writes itself.
It does.
Bwipo, Selfmade.
Selfmade started off stronger, but Bwipo, with the more experience of one extra playoff game as a jungler. Oh, it's beautiful.
And then if Fnatic win this game, they take us to a game 3, world spot on the line, former teammates, both performing at their peak.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of serendipitous that both the games seem to have been decided by which jungler is better so far.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we joke about storylines, we joke about narratives, guys, that's the story of this series so far.
It is. It certainly is. And, we shall see how the game progresses. Bwipo has done a lot in the early game. Now the rest of his team having to take the rest and run over the game. Upset obviously in a
Selfmade going in. Once again, the Feather Storm coming out from Upset. Here's the hero's entrance, stolen away. Leader's going to get knocked up and taken out, but not before he can kill off Hylissang. But the chase is on now for Fnatic. Szygenda went in and did not go out. Fnatic pick up 2 kills. And with the Rift Tower already charged in, this tower is low enough for them to knock it over.
Upset's reaction times are just nuts. I'm always impressed when AD carries can just like see into the future. We saw it from Reckless yesterday. We're seeing it from Upset today. Just he knows what he has to respect, and he is just respecting it at every point in the game. It's such a difficult thing to do, and I'm always impressed whenever I see it. Wow, what a response. They're able to punish the engage from Vitality. They end up getting a tower. They end up getting more kills. And they continue to extend control. 14.5 minutes in, we're at a 6k gold lead. And it does seem that the early game really is determining everything in our playoff series.
It definitely is. Fnatic now looking for another kill onto Szygenda in the bottom lane. Flash available for the Alligator. We'll use it to get away. Hylissang gets the knockup. There's the Everfrost for the Root as well. And with the Ignite ticking, Szygenda is Szygenda as he goes down under his tail.
How long have you held on to that one?
This is great.
It's good. It's a good one. I like it. Yep, he is indeed gone. Back to the fountain. Bwipo now, the 1v1 against Leader. I'm pretty confident he wins this.
Okay, so Leader doesn't have a Mythic. He's got a sword, another little sword, a dagger, TP coming in. Leader's already used the wind wall. There's the Tempest Cripple. Leader gonna get chased down here. Make it a 1v1. Come on. Last breath. Here we go. They're gonna try and turn it around, but Leader is so low already. Nisqy has joined the fray. Bwipo able to flash away right at the last moment. He survives. Lebrov dives into his doom as Lebrov will not be able to get away from this. It's a double for Nisqy. And they're gonna try and give this kill over to Adam, who has claimed it for his own by locking Lebrov in the realm of death.
You can see how close these exchanges are between Vitality and Fnatic. Selfmade and Leader, they played that very well, but it wasn't enough. That you're just too far behind in gold. Oh wow, Crownshot walking into the melee range. Here's another engage from Hylissang.
I mean, this is what Fnatic do so well. They just keep the tempo up, they keep the game going. Szygenda, that's also what they do so well, failing tower dives. Upset almost dives at the back of it. If you haven't seen a failed Fnatic tower dive, you haven't watched Fnatic. Upset salvages the play and goes 4-0-2.
Smooth. Cool guys, don't look at feather backstabs.
Feather explosions?
Feather explosions, yeah, sure.
It's a poultry deal to look at your feathers.
Right, exactly. Good one. So, 16-4 is the kill score. They continue to find picks all across the boards. Bwipo's perfect kill participation ruined by his bot lane.
Hylissang was trying to keep Bwipo's perfect kill participation up by failing the dive, and then Upset was like, nah, mate, I need my KDA.
True.
Brings them back.
But what a turnaround from Fnatic. We talked about it. Game 1 is not really indicative of how these best-of-5s have been going this series. Teams have been very quick to adapt, and this Xayah pickup seems to have changed a lot for Fnatic. Also getting Nisqy off the LeBlanc and onto this Sylas has definitely made a huge difference. Yeah,
and of course, Game 1 not indicative of how these teams played in the regular season either, Vedius. Vitality were 4,500 gold behind at the 15-minute mark on average. They've spent 3/4 of their games in a major deficit. This is very much more what we expected to see, what the analysts expected to see coming in to the series today. Vitality have shown us signs of life. The question is, can they revive themselves coming into Game 3? Or even in this game, although that seems unlikely.
Right now, it does seem like a very uphill battle for Vitality to win this one out, but the Wombo combo still exists. The problem is they need money and items, which right now Lee doesn't have either of. So, as Fnatic continue to extend their gold leads, Vitality only fall further behind. That's going to be so much money funneled into Upset as well. He's 4-0-2. Notice he's also gone for the Immortal Shield Bow, rather than the typical Gale Force that you will often see, just so that he has even more defensive stats. In the off chance that he does get hit by that combo, and that he's not able to react in time, he has that additional safety.
Oh, Bwipo! You shouldn't be able to hit Crownshot from there. Spotted him under the tower, caught him out. Means Crownshot has to flash away.
What was crazy was how small the ward movement was. It wasn't like he went max range W. He actually just did a very small ward hop, which makes it even harder to react to, and he's able to get the flash out from Crownshot. So nicely played there from Bwipo, at least in mechanics. He's been watching some montage videos, that's for sure.
Hadn't played it before this series, at least not in the jungle, but here 6-0-7 against his former teammate Selfmade, who had a absolute blinder in game one. Adam now trying to trade on to Szygenda. You mentioned earlier that you think Mordekaiser will start to win out this matchup. That looks to be what's happening. Realm of Death has been popped. Lebrov and Selfmade on their way, but Bwipo is here to join the fray, as is Nisqy. There's the taunt. Will get him as immediately as he gets out of the Realm of Death. Szygenda will fall 1-for-1 on the top lane. His Hero's Entrance coming out here as well, and Leader's on the way with the last breath. Bwipo with a huge shield, but knocked up airborne in the middle of the safeguard. Still manages to get the kick. However, Leader's going to try and turn this around. For Vitality, a huge shutdown there onto the Yasuo.
Yeah, and ending up trading 2-for-1 is definitely a favorable lead for Vitality. Still find themselves at a pretty big deficit, but a little bit more money into Leader's back pocket is going to be well received. You can see he's gone for a very early Mortal Reminder. Try and mitigate some of that healing. Let's have a look back. You can see in terms of the straight 1v1, Szygenda, I think he's actually holding on to his stun because he wants the shield to come through, but he's just not doing enough damage to warrant the shield, and then Adam ends up getting one shot once the rest of Vitality arrive, and Fnatic find themselves in a 2 versus 3, which they cannot come out on top of. Leader playing that one very well, utilizing the knockups, and then they decide not to overcommit for Nisqy, and instead just go back to base and spend some of their money.
And although Vitality were able to get a couple of kills there, they are still 8,000 gold behind. Fnatic still very much in the driver's seat in this game. 2 minutes before their third dragon will be a second Ocean for them, third overall. Getting them up towards that Ocean Sword. Of course, Baron is on the cards as well if they want to take it. The question is what they will do with this sizable chunk of change they have in their advantage. Inhibitor is available in that bottom lane. Still a tier 2 standing in the top and the middle lane, though.
20 minutes in. It's been a fun series.
It has. I've been enjoying myself so far. 2 games in, hopefully we see more of this. Although I will say, both games have been slightly one-sided for my liking. Seems that the team that gets the early lead goes on to win the game as Hylissang dives in, trying to change that one. Because the last breath comes out, Hylissang able to get away, but with the Feather Storm upset, just does too much damage. Leader having to run away. Will be able to live to fight another day as Szygenda looks to get in towards that backline. He's on to upset, but that Immortal Shield Bow is exactly that for the Xayah. Upset survives, he's unstoppable. And Fnatic will turn their eyes towards the Baron.
That was the best case scenario for Vitality. They wanted to get the Wombo combo off. They got the Wombo combo off, and they killed no one. Fnatic is just too strong. They are too far ahead, and they will get themselves the Baron. Fnatic in firm control of game 2.
Yeah, Adam's going to win this 2v1.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that was an interesting play from
Emote sums it up, pretty much. So let's have a look back. The engage was great from Vitality. I like the Selfmade just keeps walking forward. The 3-man knockup into Yasuo ult. So I guess there's no really other follow-up. The Galio ultimate isn't available. The Renekton isn't there. So actually on paper it looks better than it actually is. Because sure, the initiation comes through, but the follow-up damage just isn't there. And those 2 members in isolation, they just don't have enough damage to be able to kill all 5 members of Fnatic. So a good opportunity seized, but unfortunately not resulting in anything for Vitality. Fnatic now in a very strong position. 12k is the gold lead for them, and it feels like just a matter of time before we move on to game 3.
I mean, because if that's game 1, Upset is dead, right? They got him locked down. They got him in the knockup combo with the last breath. And if Selfmade was at 9 kills again, he would be able to kill off that AD carry. Bwipo diving in here, taunted up. Leader's going to Leader's going to get put in the Realm of Death as the chase continues underneath the turret. Adam continues just to rain hell upon Leader. And Fnatic walk out pretty much unscathed once again.
You can see that, especially when the Yasuo is this weak, Mordekaiser just loves those kind of trades.
What is this from Upset? He's like straddling the tier 2 tower right now as Lebrov will walk away. Crownshot will walk away as well, but like Upset is more hungry for blood than hungry for the win right now. He's chasing off Szygenda. He's not hitting the towers, Vedi.
Look, his KP is pretty low. You know
That's true.
You know, he's been involved in 10 kills. You look at Hylissang, 15. You look at Nisqy, 14. You know, it's just Upset. He wants to try and pad those stats out a little bit more.
I mean, in the regular season, he had a 20 KDA on Kaiser, so maybe he needs to get to the 10 and 10 mark before he's willing to let this game go. Though the inhibitor will fall in the top lane. Fnatic still with that Baron buff for a minute left. Szygenda trying to go in, but Bwipo finds him first. Hylissang in with the charm on towards the back line. This is a 5v4 as Nisqy dives into the back. That's the Ocean Drake secured. Adam doing what he can for his team. He's doing his part as the rest of the team part Vitality like the Red Sea. All of them dead. Fnatic turn their eyes towards the Nexus, towards the win. Upset still alive, 8-0, still 6 kills short of his perfect KDA on Kai'Sa. But for the moment, Fnatic will have to back away and look for their second inhibitor. No minions to help them. That backdoor bonus helping out Vitality a tad, but it looks like Vitality will not be able to defend this one, and the series will go to 1-1. Bwipo hit the Q there. He's not going to chase Crownshot back onto his fountain. He saw the leader make that mistake in game 1, and we even it out at 1-1.
The trend continues from this weekend. Every series so far has gone to 1-1. Guaranteed 4-game series all weekend. Question is, will we go to 5? Both teams showcasing, well, very dominant early games. Game 1, that Xayah pick coming up clutch, really mitigating a lot of what Fnatic wanted to do after they fell behind in the early game. Then in game 2, the Xayah pick gets ripped away from Vitality, and that means that they don't have the same early game, but also a couple of big changes in the mid lane. I think Nisqy playing that Sylas just gave them so much more skirmishing power, and he seemed a lot more confident on it relative to his LeBlanc, which leader was able to handle, it seemed, in the 1v1. So impressive changes, good adaptation, sets us up very nicely.
It definitely does, and it's dead even in tonight's elimination match, and we'll be back for a closer look at game 2 in just a few minutes.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LEC studio, where Fnatic came back with a vengeance for Game 2 and had full control from start to finish, mirrored in more ways than one from this first game. Also, that the game time was exactly the same in both games, Cadril. That's odd.
24 minutes, 13 seconds, both games, both stomps. It was just a flip of a coin.
Yeah, it was. Let's take a look at the adaptations from the draft and what possibly were the key changes, Treats, in how Fnatic drafted here, because they still let the Renekton through, but now they had a different plan.
Yeah, I think Fnatic was thinking of the game one and that they had too much dive and not that much protection. So they went for the Xayah this time and the Mordekaiser to kind of split the mid-jungle duo from Vitality. And I think it worked super well, and I think they will keep playing this style where Upset has a safe AD carry instead of a dive AD carry, and Adam has a useful teamfight pick, and it worked really well, and I think they will just keep doing the same.
Yeah, you saw it how the game progressed, right? The Xayah Rakan is so defensive, especially when you're locking in all this dive of Diana, Renekton, Yasuo, Galio. The only option they have to play the game is diving on top of you. Their only real late game insurance is in Ezreal, but you have a losing lane, so the Ezreal is automatically behind, and Xayah scales notoriously well.
So let's dive a bit deeper into that, because it was brought up after the first draft as well, making sure that you have a balanced composition, right? And the Xayah Rakan seems like an easy fix for that, because then you have the scaling as well, and as you say, the Ezreal can't really catch up to that. Do you think in that regard, Xayah Rakan, or maybe Xayah isolated, will be the highest priority pick going forward?
I think it's a really comfortable pick for Upset regardless, and I don't see Vitality counterpicking Xayah Rakan like too heavily. So I definitely think Xayah is something that they will keep up. They probably don't need the Rakan, but it just adds some extra safety for Upset. And honestly, they look really good in this combo. They've played it so many times before, and it's just comfort for them.
I think the irony of the series is both these teams are like biting each other like unleashed dogs, you know. But the actual fallback best option seems to be going for the most defensive option. Just defend the play and then make your way forwards.
Let's talk about the mid-jungle specifically, as we know that's Vitality's key to victory for sure. We saw it in the first game. This time around, Fnatic say, okay, we're going to do similarly. And in the boxing match of Bwipo versus Selfmade, this round goes to Bwipo.
Yeah, mid 2v2 once again, so early in the game. It's Vitality special. Now Leader goes for the 1-for-1 here, and I thought that Selfmade was out when Bwipo misses that Q right there. Looks like Selfmade's winning, but the way he plays it is so fantastic. Ward jump forwards to give Hylissang the E, to give him the distance, the gap close, and then E flash to get the kill and double buffs. It was, wow, amazing mechanics. This whole game had such good mechanics from start to finish.
It was pretty impressive, I think. I heard in the room, okay, Bwipo is not necessarily as comfortable on a Lee Sin as Selfmade would be. Treat, shall we revise that statement?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bwipo has better champs than Lee Sin. Honestly, his Lee Sin performance both games was pretty decent, but more so this game was really insane. I guess he will just keep playing it and keep smurfing and prove me wrong.
It's crazy, you know, we have the first graphic of Selfmade doing insane damage numbers. He had 1 death as well. I think he also had 8 kills on Diana, correct me if I'm wrong. Bwipo has the complete same. The exact same, 85% KP. He was 100%, I believe, in the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game. He was the driving factor behind Fnatic this game, similar to how Selfmade was last game. There was a lot of boxing matches going on here, punches being thrown, mechanics, flash kick into both, gets Upset set up with a double kill in bot, and from there the bot lane fights just went more and more in Fnatic's favor because the Xayah is so good. Look at how Upset plays this. I just want to highlight Upset here with his flash, because not only does he ult instantly to make sure he doesn't get ulted, then he flashes away from a Yasuo, Tornado, and Dyna ult, and then Leader doesn't win wall backwards. So all these fights are so mechanically intense, and Fnatic came out on top.
Yeah, it has a hard and fast play, and it's a mechanical outplays after another. In terms of kind of the draft, I heard an interesting discussion between you guys about Vitality and how they like to play, and can they play front to back. Treats, it might say it in itself, but for the noobs, what is fighting front to back rather?
Yeah, so Vitality, especially Leader, likes to play a lot of assassins, a lot of champs to just go in. And he doesn't really play a lot of mages and the traditional style front to back where you just hit the closest target. And I think in this series it's becoming more and more prevalent, especially with picks like Xayah. I think you can pick a lot of long-range mages to outplay this, but I would not see Leader doing it, and I think that will eventually bite them.
Yeah, he's completely right. Leader's only champs we've seen, apart from Rise, are just dive champs. And obviously, like just Dries said, Xayah can peel through that. So I think maybe a ban on Xayah or something like this, which is actually not very meta, you know. It's just you don't have a mage to answer it. Like I said, you don't have the range to answer with it. So when you're playing these only dive comps, this could be a good ban. Otherwise, I think switching it up and playing more pick-oriented champions like Evelynn, perhaps, where you just pick people off one by one rather than just dive on top of them, could be another adaptation for Vitality.
It's interesting how in different best of fives, different things get prioritized, and all of a sudden you're thinking of a Xayah ban, which is kind of odd as well. In terms of kind of how bloody this series has been and how fast the games are going, Cadril, you've had a couple of things noticed.
Yeah, so I just want to look at the combined kills per minute and the average game time of this game. These two games combined, compared to the LEC average, because the average game time is 24:13 because both games were that, and the combined kills per minute, 1.32 combined kills per minute is just crazy. It's just such a bloodbath, and it's so fun to watch. I don't want clean League of Legends. I don't want slow macro. I want more of this because it's so crazy to me how both these teams are at each other's neck the whole game long.
At 3:20, you're in a game like that. Does it become harder to kind of control the right decision making and whatnot because it's happening so fast?
Yeah, I think it becomes harder, and both of these teams also, it becomes an extra challenge for them, I think. I think when they lose a fight, they're like, it's fine, we'll win the next one. And then it just keeps going, and then suddenly, oh, you're 6 fights down, and they're up 10K, and it's kind of doomed. So yeah, it's really hard for them.
I love the way you said that about both teams. That's usually what we see happening on the Rift. Now let's look ahead. Vitality chose blue side for game 3. We talked about the adaptations. We now have that extra spice of Xayah coming in, but the Renekton is still there for Vitality. Where do they go next on this blue side?
Funny thing is, this is the first time we'll ever see teams swap. In the G2 series and in the Rogue series, they're always on the same side every single game. This is the first swap we see in the first playoffs, and I think you're completely right. Blue side, you can target ban, so maybe a Xayah ban could be good for them, but they're going to change it up 100%. Vitality obviously couldn't choose blue side because they were the lower seed going into game 1, and they won game 2, so Fnatic chose blue side both games. Now they've taken it away. Yeah,
I mean, I think in general, the Renekton and the Xayah, I think, will be still 2 prior picks for them. I'm not sure what they will do with the Renekton now that they see the Mordekaiser from Adam. Maybe they will still go for it and they feel confident. But yeah, I think the Xayah especially is something to keep an eye on.
Okay, cool. All eyes on Xayah and on the next pick and ban. Vitality on blue, and everything is on the line for these teams tonight. And based on the first 2 games, we're in for a bloody best of 5. The action continues in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.